Howdy, y'all.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Al from Boston show. This is Al. What's up? What is going on? Hey, lot to talk about tonight. Lot of talk about. Let me see if Frank is here. I sent Frank a invite. I don't know if he got it or not, but hopefully he did. He's late, as usual. He's late. That's what Frank does. Frank is late. How's everybody in the chats? I see you guys. Hold on one sec, guys. Let me just get Frank on the phone. Don't tell me you're driving. All right, we're live. All right. Frankie will be here in a second. I have some fun guests tonight. I got Brian and I got Dakota here. Hi, guys. How you guys doing?
How you doing well, brother?
Great.
All right. Oh, hell of a day. Let's see what we got in the chat today. We got Eugene, Optimal. Benny, how you doing? Brent, I see you, buddy. Misty, Nerd, I see you, brother. Chris, what's going on? Phil, Dave McCarthy, Amar, Sweet Home Alone, Dave, Dominic Conaceta, Lyrical Assassin, Mark, Major Woody, Michael Bagano, Miami, Carl, and Mia, Captain Brian. Let's see, Eric, Gruno 311, what's up, brother? We got the usual crew. We got the usual crew of misfits here. What's going on, fuckers? What's going on? Andrew Yusevich, I see you, buddy. We're just going to give a couple minutes, and then we'll get the shit show started, and we'll go from there. I see. Hey, where are you guys from? Put it in the comments. Let me know where you're from and all that good stuff, please. Making news as usual. Smash that like button. Let's get some bodies in here. Let's get the bodies in here. I see you, Scuba Steve. The shit show runs AMC. Right? Oh, my God. Crazy, isn't it? It's nutty. It's nutty the way this was done. We've got some experts that's going to be talking about it. We're going to have a discussion, a meaningful discussion, God willing. And you guys can discover what we found out about a week ago about the security. And Adam Aaron, I don't know. You figure with the kind of money that AMC has, you figure like, hey, we're going to be able to afford good lawyers and figure this stuff out. But this was just thrown together. This was done with haste. And it is what it is. Al's Booty Duty Closet, best place on earth. Well, I appreciate that. El Paso, I see you, buddy. Fort Lucie, Naperville, what's going on? Fresno, Milwaukee, Palm Springs, Rancho Cucamonga, not a real place, but thank you for anyway. BC, British Columbia, Walpole, MCI, Walpole. No, that's an inside joke. Darwin. Yes, there is some CGRA news. British Columbia again, New York, New Jersey, Albuquerque, Strong Island, New York, Nevada, London, Ontario, Ohio, Nashville, Ludlow, Los Alamitos. Oh my God, we had all kinds of people up in here. Oh, goodness gracious. Frank, you there?
I'm here.
Apocalypse Now, Frank? Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Okay. So it's nutty, man. It's completely nutty. This company and it's fucking, I mean, I don't understand how anyone could fuck this up as bad as they have. I really don't know. It's like we had it and then it was going so good and then fucked it up like a wet dream. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, man. Yeah, the hedges do belong in MCI Walpole. What's going on, Ethan? Supermarket, New York. Ethan's in the supermarket. All right.
We gotta bring Ethan up.
No, yeah, Ethan, get on. I'm gonna send Ethan a message on hopefully Twitter email, along with an invite. Hopefully he will show up for this thing. He's a very informed chap. I like him a lot, and I'm gonna try to send him a link. Hopefully he'll be there. He'll show
Yeah, I like
up.
him. He's a doer. That's what I like is doers.
He's a doer. He's an action
That's
guy,
it.
you know.
He's about that action. He sees something, he goes.
Oh no, he says he can't tonight.
Oh, come on.
He says he's getting his chest waxed. What the fuck? I don't know. No, he didn't really say that. He didn't say that. Walpole or Marlboro, I see you. Oh, welcome. Okay, so today we had a little bit of an eye-opening experience. Our friend Brian, friend of the show, sent an email out to the New York Stock Exchange, cited their rules, sent an email, and it was pretty it was there. It was all cited. It was all well worded. And then it went out there, and the next thing you know, here it is. Here it is. I mean, we've got an actual case here because of the securities. Now,
I won't go that far. It's just an allegation, and it's their duty to identify something. I looked at the rules, and then I put them on notice, and hopefully they'll investigate and come to their own conclusion.
So, Brian, for those of
it's a small piece of a bigger,
right,
much bigger, in my opinion, though.
Hey, everybody, smash that like button so we can get the bodies in here, so we can talk about this real quick. Hit that like button, and all right, Brian, start from the top. Let's hear your thesis. Let's go ahead and go from there. I want to hear your thesis first, and then what you did and the contents of that email. Go ahead.
Okay, so I just reviewed. I was really reviewing some of the language on interested parties and takeover, because I said last time that this looks like it's a preferred share takeover, and lo and behold, there's protections in place that NASDAQ has and the New York Stock Exchange has, and the protections are basically that they want to protect investors from having companies basically sell to someone that becomes a interested stakeholder. By interested stakeholder, you mean someone that owns more than 15% of the company,
right?
Because that's like kind of an anti-takeover protection,
right?
So, pursuant to the little rule book that they have for companies that are traded on the New York Stock Exchange, there's a criteria for how they can sell 20% more of the outstanding voting power, really what it is. And so, lo and behold, I ran the numbers, and it looks like our friends at Intera are an interested party, and they did the criteria basically that I identified was that it can't be a private transaction, it can't be below the market price of the closing that day or the 5 days prior, the average of the 5 days prior, and it can't be for more than 20% of the voting power. And this is all triggers a vote. So you'll see a lot of times where companies will go right up to the 19.9% percentage of outstanding votes. And they went well beyond it. Antara Capital did. So I identified that, and then I just, my curiosity sparked up, and it looked like this, in my eyes, was a potential breach of the listing requirement. So I just took action and emailed, I found out who to email, and then I emailed them.
Okay, what about QSIP numbers?
QSIP numbers? Well, in relation to what?
So if APE has a QSIP number, right, it's separate from AMC, and they're being merged together, there's going to be a QSIP number change, I assume, correct?
Yeah, that's my, if the vote goes through, that's my interpretation.
Okay. Now, Frank, you had a thesis about that, right? You had something to say about that?
Well, no, I just noticed on Twitter a lot of people were complaining that the QSIP number is the same for AMC and APE. I haven't.
Whoa. Interesting.
Wow.
It's not a separate security.
It's not a separate security.
At this time.
That's what Spencer was saying. And I did some research on what, I kind of followed up on. Spencer was here, and he did have a point, because he was, I don't agree with what they're doing is illegal, but he was kind of showing us how they were doing what they're doing. And what they're doing is computer share. He's right. They put a bunch of preferred share on the books of computer share, and computer shares actually agreed to vote yes on any abstained vote. Any vote that doesn't come in, they're going to vote yes with the preferred shares. And
Okay,
that's
so
very
that was
troubling.
that
That's
was
very
just
troubling.
for computer share, or was that in the actual release that a non-vote will be counted as a yes? Because I found that very unusual.
I find it very unusual because especially for proposal 1 of the authorization of shares, is you need the majority. So if people abstain, usually it's a no because you need the majority. It's like almost like a constitutional provision where you need 51%. Actually, no, scratch that. It's not like that. It has to be 50% participation of all outstanding shares. So it's very troubling that computer share and to my knowledge, almost all the preferred shares are stuck on computer shares books, and then they're distributing APE units. But I could be wrong about that too. But specifically with computer shares, that they agreed to vote yes on units that they didn't get a vote for, which is very troubling.
That is very murky at best. That's murky at best because how are these guys able to do all this? I mean, is this wink, wink, nod, nod type of thing? That's what it sounds like. Sounds like a lot of that.
It's like fuck you, sue me, Kevin. That's what I interpret it as.
Like I see. Okay, fuck you, sue me. Got it. Okay. So this is tantamount to just that. They're trying there. He is trying his damnedest. Adam Aaron is going to every shareholder event that he's hosting, and he's telling people, vote yes, vote yes. There's an urgency. And there's this fallacy, this complete bullshit that the company's going to go bankrupt. Have you seen the books? Have you looked at the books? Hollywood's producing movies. There's new movies coming out every month. And he's saying we're going to go bankrupt. No, we're not. That's just not true. The fact of the matter is he's trying to destroy this company because the burn rate that he's got, he's just spending willy-nilly. He's just burning through money. All right. And I said this before, right? I've said this multiple times. If you are a CEO, you have to get acclimatized to the idea that during times of prosperity, you get to spend a little. And during times of inflation and recession and all these fucking crazy things, you have to be able to go lean. And that means cutting salaries, firing people, cutting down on lines that are not making money, all that stuff, and not giving away, our hard-earned money. I mean, it's just the idea of that is just completely foreign to me. Why wouldn't he just cut the spending down instead of running the business willy-nilly and just completely it just, I don't even have the word for it. It's irresponsible.
Well, to that point, I'll give you the word for it. Highcroft Mining and Nicole Kidman.
Yeah,
if you're
$40 million.
Bankrupt, why are you buying a gold mine? Why are you giving Nicole Kidman whatever the millions of dollars?
$40 million we spent on that.
So he could smell her. So he could smell whatever. See how he wanted to smell her, so he used your money to go back to Nicole Kidman and smell her.
He wanted to smell.
Also, to your point, there's also a fallacy that when he's going around speaking bankruptcy. There's also this fallacy that there's some type of contingency on the vote being
there
approved,
isn't.
and then if the vote goes no, they keep Terra's money. Thank you. We voted no. Thank you for the money, Terra. You still get your preferred shares.
Yeah, ape.
And then he can just, and my thing is, then he can ask for approval to sell through AMC. Like I said, ad nauseum. If AMC is trading at $5, Ape's trading at 50 cents. I'm just doing round numbers. Why the fuck would you sell Ape? What you do is you ask permission and just sell AMC. So if this vote goes through no, then you just keep the money from Intera. Everybody that arbitrage has to cover, and then you put a proposal where we will sell AMC common, and we won't sell it below $5 or won't, $10, whatever the price is that you can agree on, that you get your shareholders to agree on, because you need input from shareholders. And that's the big thing, is he's trying to circumvent input from shareholders, and he's gone rogue. And his style of corporate governance, it looks like just a dictatorship. And to that point, there's laws that protect these type of rogue boards,
especially in Delaware.
And it's Delaware. Yeah, that's the other thing. Delaware,
especially in Delaware.
Now I know, Brian. You dealt with these Delaware folks. They like to play their own little version of fuck games, correct?
Oh, Delaware, yeah, they all got a bow tie and
yeah.
They make backroom deals.
Yeah, that's what I figured as much.
With cigars, and it's like the Monopoly man. They got cigars in their mouth, and they're just dividing up the
wealth.
Yeah, Slice
Yeah.
of the pie, yeah, 100%.
Hey, Al.
Yeah.
All right, devil's advocate for a moment. Not necessarily to take a position against you, but to give some context to your argument. Okay. Number one, the Marine made a good point the other day on one of his shorts. He outlined all the spending that Adam did from the time he was, added as CEO all the way up until the pandemic. Okay. The guy did go on a spending spree. It's not like we accumulated all this debt just because of the pandemic. All right. But I will tell you this, Al. The burn rate doesn't really come from just Adam's spending. Okay. Number one, the pandemic itself is a 1 in 100 year event. And this is the first time the government's ever stepped in and shut down businesses like ours. Okay, we've never experienced a lockdown. All this other stuff isn't new. If you go study the Spanish flu, there's people with masks, there's people with signs, everybody's divided, fighting, all kinds of shit out. When people are dying, people during a health crisis, people are afraid. Okay, but I think one thing that's escaping everyone is a lot of our debt. Adam Aaron, in his one thing I could say that was good that he did is before rates went up, Adam began restructuring the debt, refinancing, pushing out maturities to 2025. Now we've pushed them out to 2026, but we still have debt service payments out. Okay. And a lot of it is based on the LIBOR. And I'm sure
Yeah, I know.
most
I know
of the
about LIBOR.
people in our live chat have noticed that their minimum payments on their credit cards
Gone up.
have gone up.
So
Okay.
let me just
The mortgage rates
Frank,
have gone.
let me
Go ahead.
guys, for those of you who don't understand what LIBOR is, the LIBOR rate is what's called the London Interbank Offered Rate. It's an interest rate average that's calculated by the leading banks in London. That's what a LIBOR is. It's qualitatively different than just the interest rate we get here in the U.S. Go ahead, Frank. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's just an acronym. When I say LIBOR, you could replace that with the Treasury. It's just an index of an interest rate that's going to determine what your minimum payment is on your revolving debt. So your credit cards, everyone in the live chat, you can consider that a revolving debt. Well, corporate America works very much the same way. Most of their lines of credit are referred to as revolving debt facilities. Okay. And they can adjust. And just like your minimum payments are going up, AMC's minimum payments are going up. And not just going up, but the LIBOR has advanced from 5/8, which I'll translate as 0.625, to as high as 5.625. It's not doubled, it's not tripled, it's many-fold higher. Okay. And the reason that's concerned a lot of guys like me and other people that that do fundamental analysis is it's going to be very hard for us to turn a profit. Even though Al is right, Hollywood is stepping it up. We should get 25 to 35% more product to present to the public this year than the previous year. However, because of the higher interest rates, it's consuming any opportunity we're going to have, in my opinion, to post a profit. It's very difficult. So, you know what? A lot of these things that we're talking about tonight, I just want you to know that it's not all Adam Aaron. It's not.
Something is going on, Frank. Something is going on. They're not even letting the foreign investors. There are people in Great Britain, Ireland, Eastern Europe, Asia, Germany that have shares in AMC, significant amount of shares. But you know what? Guess who is not allowed to vote? Guess who is not allowed to vote? The foreigners.
Europe.
Now, why is that?
Those aren't computer share. Those are going to be yes votes, and that's
Those are all yes votes. Yeah.
We can concede. We can concede that the company's in trouble. It's not all Adam Aaron's fault. But why is he raising capital for 60 cents instead of $6?
I have an answer for that. I too am very frustrated. I don't like being Adam Aaron's advocate. I am an open critic I can point to things that I don't like that he's done. Okay. This swap, yeah, I would have preferred he did it at 1050. Okay. If I was going to complain about something Adam Aaron did, when APE became a public, when the preferred share began trading, it was halted 10 times on its first day, on its anniversary day. Adam put one tweet out, never did another thing about it. Okay, I've got a lot of beefs with the integrity of the trading of AMC and APE. Okay, I don't like the predatory naked short selling. I don't like the 1,000 hit pieces in the press. I don't like the constant spoofing that goes on. I don't like the fact that every time the stock rallies, they halt it, but every time it drops precipitously, nothing happens. They just let it fall like a dump truck off the Empire State Building. I've got a lot of beefs, okay, with Adam. I just want the chat to understand and Al to understand that, there's a point that I won't cross. I am going to disagree. I've seen a lot of things I've never seen before. I've never seen utilization stay at 100% for over a year in all the years I've watched the market. I've never seen somebody try to put options on a preferred share and then take it away.
It's completely maddening.
I've never seen any the.
Well, maybe they're doing this because they have a fixer. Have you thought that maybe that?
Yeah, somebody's definitely trying to. Somebody's definitely pulling strings in the background.
Yeah, maybe they know they
Exactly.
got their guy in there, and that he's going to protect. He's going to do stuff like issue 8 and let them cover.
Now you're talking. Now you're coming into agreement with how I look at it. I feel like Wall Street sits in our boardroom. I don't think Adam Aaron will do and he's proved it. I don't think he will do anything to hurt Morgan Stanley or Wall Street interests. It's obvious. I think he's doing the best he can within his limitations. I've said from the beginning, I think he had his vote. Now if millions or even billions of synthetic shares exist, Pete from Philly made a point. He's like, hey Frank, no, he still needs to get a vote. He still needs to get the vote from retail. Now, Al and I both put out independent polls, and we came in identically the same, about 60% in favor. The apes themselves were in favor. So if you add Adam's block of shares and Antara, and all Adam needs to add to that is retail and maybe one institutional investor to vote his way, this is a non-event. That's why, even though I'm leaning to a no, I'm waiting until after. I want to hear the earnings call. I want to hear the tone of management. Since we have the most mute investor relations department I have ever seen in 27 years of trading, I've never seen an IR department this quiet when you have this much shit to talk about. So I'm going to withhold my decision on voting until I get all the information, and I want to see what they're going to do on this earnings call. I want to see exactly how we did. Okay, I want to know what's going on with this branded credit card with our retail popcorn line. I want to know everything about it. And then I'll vote. Go right ahead.
Can I comment real quick?
Sure.
See, the way it's supposed to be set up would be that AMC Common would vote, right? And I guess you guys understand that beef. What happens is if you abstain from the vote, then it's a no vote because they need a majority. They need 51% of all outstanding shares. So it's going to be a lot harder to pass this if it's just common voting. So I agree. If APE vote and they structure the way they're structured, it's got no chance.
Richie,
my biggest
hold on a
concern.
Wait. Richie, can you bring up that question that you had earlier, or that comment rather?
Yeah. So I kind of seen this coming across. It was still kind of new information to me, but what I thought about when I saw your post about all the stuff with the NYSE and possibly a delist, I was kind of thinking, okay, if it does get delisted, like I said, just biting, just looking forward, what would happen to APE? What are the possibilities if that does happen? Where does APE go at that point? And the two things that cross my mind are the OTC market or a complete recall of the APE shares.
Recall. That's what I think. I think it's going to be a recall. I think they have to get an accurate share count.
You guys call it recall, I call it reco.
So this is the other thought that crossed my mind. Let's say hypothetically they do a recall for those shares. Now, if there are no synthetic shares out there, they still have to recall all those shares. But even if there's only 5 naked short shares out there, once they recall all those shares and say, look, I got all the apes back, everything's all good, what are you going to say about the people that still have ape in their brokerage account? All right. Now, if you want to add naked shorts onto that, you're going to have people with millions, not individuals, but as a group, millions, possibly billions of apes sitting in their account after this recall.
Well, we're getting far ahead of ourselves. Point being is, if there was a New York Stock Exchange action, which I don't think there will be, it would put a bunch of eyes on this thing, and you guys would get your share count. You know, it would lead to other things that would start exposing, you know, some of the stuff with the vote and some of the things that you mentioned, the naked shorting. So it's really a primer. It's kind of a foot in the door.
I agree. That's what kind of.
Here's another
like
one.
I said, I'm just saying, all right, I'm going to bite. Let's just go with the flow here and just think about what possibilities happen. Like, I'm going to be the good cop here. I know Frank's kind of being the bad cop, being a little more pessimistic, and we need all of those sides. And I agree with some of the things Frank's saying as well. Yeah, I'm just thinking more on the positive side. If they do a recall and there are naked shorts, and they recall all those shares, they get definitely exposed fraud.
That's now, you see, that's really my position. I want billions of shares cast, and now there's a crime in the open. There may not even be a split. Okay, there may not even be a conversion. If everybody votes, okay, if everyone votes their shares and a billion shares show up, now you've got some splaining to do. Now the
Right.
shorts are truly exposed. I don't think Adam Aaron ever wanted a MOAS. It's completely counterparty to everything he's trying to do. He needs to keep the apes engaged with the company for as long as possible. I've never expected him to do anything. I've always pointed at black swans and white swans forcing either the prime banks and brokers to a decision or the predatory hedge funds. I've never looked at Adam Aaron as being our savior, or the SEC or FINRA to ever do their job in this case. I think that they have been convinced that we're the problem, that Reddit and Wall Street Bets is the problem, that they're the true villain. And I think there are synthetic shares. I can't prove it, but if billions of votes are cast, this may be a. I'm not here to win arguments. I'm here to make money. Okay, I could care less who's right. I just want to see. I want to see how many votes are cast, and I want to make sure that once they get to a certain amount where they think based on a legitimate float that they've got a majority, that they just stop counting or pull some bullshit like that. And that's what I'm most concerned about. Because I want everyone to vote. I want every vote counted. Because now you've got a crime in the open.
And not only that, when you vote, you don't want your vote diluted. If you own a certain percentage of that company and your vote is diluted, your vote is worth less.
Mm-hmm. I'm not okay with that.
To the point, what's the harm? Let's say that they did break the law, and we find that they broke the law, like I'm kind of doing. What is the harm in actually forcing them to abide by the law? Because it seems like there's some pushback, especially with these people. I think they're just talking their book and they average down and have a bunch of 8. But I'm for everybody. There's GME guys that listen. I'm for the GME guys, for the 8 guys, and for the AMC guys. But what is the harm in correcting a law that's being broken?
None at all. None at all. But we live in a hurricane of lawlessness right now. Is anybody following any of the rules?
That's a great point.
I don't see it. I don't see. I mean, you can spoof, you can layer, you can hire people in the press. They trade in a consortium. Naked shorting failure, $1.5 million average a day in FTDs. Who the fuck is following the law? Who's following the rules in any of this? This to me is one of the least crimes that I've seen. So at this point, my biggest concern is Pete from Philly had a theory that Adam Aaron is going to save the company, dilute it to the point where it's basically a zombie company, give the shorts an out, okay, and then run off into the sunset and retire and say, "Hey, I saved the company. They've paid off or paid down their debt." Right.
That's my guess. That's my guess what they're going to do.
And now the stock trades like a Nokia. Just trillions
Sideways.
of shares out there sloshing around, and the stock can't ever get any real traction, no matter what kind of good news you put out. And there's my other point, Al. Why can't why the muzzle on investor relations? Why are you holding it down?
Because it's all
More
a big
buyers
scam.
than sellers mean price appreciation, and it just seems like they don't want to do it.
You're going to have 10 million people trying to exit out of this fucking play on the next run up for pennies on the dollar.
Maybe that's the plan.
That is the plan. That is the plan.
Let them cover, yep, and then maybe they go long. They're probably running up a couple times. I don't really speculate, but they know what the plan is, and we don't.
That's the plan. 2 years we held out. Now they're going to dilute, trying to flush us all out, and the only way to stop them is by voting no. And a lot of people who are just addicted to being fucking poor will vote yes. They want to just get out because they don't want the drama anymore. Because it's emotionally taxing to hold stock for some people. Fuck it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want to bash the yes people. I don't want to bash the no people. Okay, I want to make the right decision. You know what I mean? I want to make the right decision, Al. This guy. Does he have shareholder appreciation in mind? No. He
doesn't give a shit, dude. Come on.
I don't think this.
Well, he split them right down the middle, in my opinion. That's what this was. He split us right down the middle. That's why I'm an ape guy. Like I said, GME, anybody, MMNL, TP, whatever it is. He split them right down the middle and put them. He split his fiduciary duty down the middle too. Is my point. And it didn't have to be like this. He did it kind of to take a scenic route, sell some cheap shares. Get authorization with a brick vote.
Don't forget this. You know what? He wants to drag it out as long as possible because he needs people to continue. These extra 4 million people, we are the difference between AMC theaters, AMC Entertainment, and Cineworld. Otherwise, we would be in the same boat as Cineworld. Cineworld made the same mistakes Adam Aaron did. They came out before the pandemic. They bought Regal. It was expensive. Then the pandemic came. The only thing that saved AMC is the apes. The apes came in, supported the stock. It gave the company the ability to monetize the stock. That was it. Otherwise, we'd be in bankruptcy court right next to Cineworld.
10 million people trying to get out at one specific time frame is just, it's going to be Ken Griffin's master plan. He's going to laugh his way all the way to retirement. He's going to talk about this for years at all of his parties. I got 10 million people to leave a stock for holding after 2 years. Mass exodus. That's the correct word, Mr. Kamowski. It's mass exodus.
I just want to say that I love Ape Daddy in the chat. Buying 10,000 more AMC tomorrow.
Hey, if that's what you guys want to do, by all means, I will not be involved in that. I will not be able to involve.
Ant-Man did big.
That's right. Ant-Man did over $100 million.
Ant-Man.
So don't hate on Ant-Man now.
This is what happens. This is what happens when.
Did you get your popcorn helmet? No.
This is what happens, right? When you have a leadership team who doesn't communicate with their shareholders, there isn't transparency in the books, and they give us bits and pieces of information. This is what happens. And then the stacking of the deck, chairman and CEO. It's just, I don't even know what to say. I really don't know.
I do. You know what, live chat? I got something for you to look forward to tomorrow. Ape is 5th and AMC is 7th on stocks with the highest short interest. And I'm not just talking about the New York Stock Exchange. I'm talking about the entire NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. Okay? Also, when it comes to the New York itself, APE is the number one most shorted stock. AMC comes in, I think, at 9th. And yes, we have been on the threshold list now for 12 consecutive days. Tomorrow will be 13. We won't know until the following day because it's recorded one day in arrears. But I just want you guys to know that while everybody else is ready to take a cyanide capsule, I'm still willing to trade this bitch. Okay? Because the bottom line is we are 5th and 7th in the highest short interest out of all the stocks in the American universe. All of them. And by the way, tomorrow is day 13. So if they come out buying to get off the threshold list, if you see a spike, you know why. Because they are being forced to go to the open market and buy shares. Unless they can get around that that friggin' law too. I don't know, guys. I can't promise shit. But now Max Payne is down to 5.
Well, is it true that there's no location on a special dividend? I think there's no locate. Someone said there's no locate.
When I was talking about threshold, excuse me, thank you for clarifying. I was speaking only about AMC. AMC appeared on the New York Stock Exchange threshold list on February 2nd. So as of today, since it's a holiday, you got to go one day forward. That would be the 13th consecutive settlement day. Now, will I know it first thing tomorrow morning? No, because they don't release that information until the following business day.
Well, my question is, if the QSIPs are the same, are they locating 8 because it's a like?
That's an interesting question.
That's what it's always looked like to me, the potential for that. Because I think they don't have to share. I don't think they have to locate 8 because it's on the board of computer share, and they don't have to actually find it short. I think they just maybe short it, and then if they could.
That would be disgusting. If that turns out to be true, that would make me literally throw up. Because one thing I'm concerned about is Antara selling APE in the open market, and then who's buying that? Because you know that security is going to be converted into AMC. Instant locate.
Think about it, Frank. This thing goes up, they drop millions of shares in the market, and it goes plummeting down, dropping it all at one time. Not even like a 100,000 here, 100. No. At one fucking time, all those shares being dumped at one time, and nobody's exiting. And then we become what's called the proverbial bag holder. That is what Antara is.
Bring it on. Let's start tomorrow. Bring it on.
What?
Oh, this dumping that you're talking about.
I'm talking about during the actual.
Let's go.
I'm talking about the during movement. I'm talking about the actual run up. If that happens during an actual run up, Antara will dump all those shares. What do you think will happen then?
You're saying there's going to be a rally, and Antara is going to dump its 25% of the company.
Think about it.
Okay.
What do you think would happen to that stock if you were going to dump 25% of their ownership stock? What do you think would happen to the price?
Does that get the?
You're not answering me. What? Answer me. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think will happen? Let's say the stock goes up
there's
to
more sellers than buyers.
Let's say the stock goes.
They're going to hedge it and make money, and then after the hedge goes off, that's when it dumps.
That's
my theory.
It's like this thing is. Let's say it goes up. Let's just for shits and giggles. Let's say it goes up to $55. Right, $55. Not a lot, but most of us will get out with something, a little bit. Some of us are going to get fucked hard, and they dump their position. I'm talking the whole thing gets on the open market. Citadel buys it. Right. The market maker, they buy it. What do you think the price is going to be from $55?
In that scenario, it would be identical because you're saying Citadel's buying the whole thing.
Yeah, it's genuine shares now. They can cover. The short hedge funds can cover with that, right?
Bring it on.
I think my theory is that he's going to have a bunch of freshly minted AMC common to sell. You guys realize that, right?
Bingo! Bingo! Hold on, we got a winner here.
So hold on. There's going to be a lockup period where AMC can't sell. I don't know what it is after the vote goes through. There's a lockup period that allows Antara to exit, and they probably have all these hedges. So the price, could fluctuate. They're going to try to get a good price. They're not going to dump it. And then he's going to undercut whoever's averaging down. AA is, in my opinion, and he's going to sell and do massive dilution. And that's when Citadel buys.
And how many? How many are they going to buy? How short are they?
Well, he's got $4 billion. If it converts, pre-split, he has $4 billion AMC is going to convert.
Wow. There's your squeeze, guys, right there.
Do your math. $4 billion in debt. I think he's probably going to trade around $1. But I don't speculate on these things, but that would be my guess.
Yeah, that's the reality. It converts. It's got real shares. It's real AMC at that moment. And that thing just keeps riding and riding until they dump it. Everybody covers, and the stock is dog shit. Literally dog shit. This is why a no vote is so necessary. The fuck us. It doesn't even take
I might vote no just for fun.
it doesn't even
I
require
don't even think
anybody here in
I
this
honestly
chat.
don't even think it matters, but
It doesn't require anybody here to have a finance degree to know that you're about to get fucked if you vote yes. But hey,
It's definitely concerning, Al. That's for sure. I mean, the play wasn't this convoluted when we first started getting into it back in January 2021, and it's gotten out of control. And I'm just like, how do you know what direction this thing's even gonna move? Like, no number or calculation or DD you do is gonna be able to figure out which direction this thing is going. It's mind-boggling.
that's absolutely true, because you can't measure FOMO and you can't measure something that hasn't happened yet. Okay, that's why since tomorrow, Tuesday, is our 13th day potentially on the threshold list, and next Tuesday is our earnings call, where we could, Quantum Mania is doing well. We could get the release of retail popcorn. We could get the branded
it's
credit
not
card.
going to
We
happen.
could get
Adam
something
Aaron
from the
said
street.
it's not going to be ready until Q2. Late Q2 is what he said. Popcorn. Remember on the call? Late
No,
Q2.
I didn't hear that one.
Late Q2. And there's a popcorn shortage, which I'm sure Citadel has something to do with. I mean, why do you think fucking Alder Lane Eggs, Mark Cahotes was fucking with them? It's like, these people are not stupid. They're willing to create. Ken Griffin will literally buy every ounce of popcorn, sit it in his fucking garage if it means fucking over this company. Believe me.
Well, for the 800 people in the chat, okay, and for the really aggressive no voters, I want you guys to know that there's a thin line between voting what you think is right and then voting against your own money, against your own investment. So I'm not in the habit of bashing my own company, bashing my own CEO, hoping that things go wrong. So like I'm going to teach my money a lesson. Okay, that normally doesn't come up in my trading plan. So I want everyone to know that a black swan or a white swan changes the calculus on all the bullshit that Adam Aaron might be planning, that the predatory shorts might be planning, that the prime banks and brokers might be planning. In fact, this Friday, I think there's 700,000 Russian troops rolling into Ukraine. So, buckle up, buttercups, because these guys think they control everything, but they don't.
We have followed that mantra.
I know a half dozen hedge funds that aren't around anymore, and they were fucking smart too.
Listen, this stock is this move. I'm sorry. When is this happening now? How many days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
What do you count now?
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 days. In 18 days, what you're hypothesizing, what you're guessing is in 18 days, there's going to be some event that's going to cause a short covering event, a black swan, if you will. Let's not lie to ourselves. We believe.
Excuse me.
It's not going to happen.
John O'Hara, all my speculation's been wrong. Let me tell you something, bro. You ever want to compare account statements? You let me know.
All right.
You let me know, John.
It's one of these things where it's like you're asking for these things that, could happen, but realistically won't. Like the threshold list, right? Oh, the threshold. Oh, it's FTDs. It's this. It's that. We're lying to ourselves because nobody plays by the rules. Nobody plays by the rules. Nobody's enforcing the rules, right? There's no enforcement of the law. So we keep saying to ourselves, "Oh, what was that Bigham's things that he had? The fucking the phase 6. Oh, phase 6. It's this. It's that. And now it's FTDs. It's this. It's that. None of this stuff matters. None of this matters. Okay? It doesn't. We've been counting on these people to do their jobs. Like I said, there is no way they're going to do their jobs. They're on cruise control. They're on cruise control. And the simple truth is we are about to get fucked.
It's
They
funny.
haven't, shorts haven't covered yet, chat, just so you know.
I kind of laugh that you say all that stuff, Al, because I'm sitting here going, if you look at all the 3-digit agencies or
perfect example.
All that stuff. SSR, nothing. FTD, nothing. Limit up, limit down, nothing. SEC, nothing. DTCC, nothing.
Should I tell them about the other 3-letter agency? That thing that we. So many of you guys know me and Rich went to 2 different FBI offices, and we talked and did a live a Zoom meeting, right, with the FBI. Richie was there. He can vouch for it. It took about a half hour, 45 minutes. We showed them everything. Right? We showed them everything. And they said, yeah, we'll get back to you guys. Never heard from them again. Never heard from them. Okay. And then, right. So on the blockchain for AMC, the actual security, like the tokenized security, we found some stuff that may or may not have been a money laundering thing for the cartels, we'll just say, right? Or maybe it was Russians. I don't know. But what we did is I had a friend of mine who I was in the Marine Corps with that works for the Central Intelligence Agency. I called them, spoke to a case officer, explained the situation, sent the data on a secure email, right? They have nothing to say. Nothing. We can't do anything about this. It's out of our hands. I'm sorry. And that was the end of that. If the FBI, if the Central Intelligence Agency, if the SEC, and all these regulators couldn't do a fucking thing, that we're talking about the FBI and the CIA, the 2 most powerful organizations in the world. If you're telling me they are unwilling to help, why would you think the fucking FTDs, the fucking bullshit thing here is going to be any better? It's not. The truth is, you have to vote no. Otherwise, this whole dream, the past 2 years, would have been a complete waste of your time as well as mine. Vote no.
I would say also get in the street too, like an example, like I mentioned, Ethan, and, even if you can look at what I'm kind of doing as a template, you see something, you spread it, you get it going, form groups, and you put pressure, because you notice judges, SEC, all those agencies, what they really care about is what it looks like, what the optics are. So anything that happens in the dark, they can get away with, but you need to shed a light on it as much as possible.
It has to be no. It just
send demands, send notice. Oh yeah, I agree on that. At first and foremost, we need to get a clean vote. So I employ everybody.
It's not a clean
vote. If you see my tweets, you see what I'm doing, contact Adam Aaron, contact the New York Stock Exchange, contact, Delaware attorneys, all hands on deck to try to get a clean vote of just common stock as required by law. I'm 100% sure that they need to at least separate the classes. And if they separate the classes, as I said, then it has to be by majority of common stock, and you get rid of this computer share nonsense, you get rid of Antera and all the rigging of the vote. And then when we see where the cards lay, if you guys want to you still want to vote yes, I still want to see it be through the correct procedure of common stock voting. So I would employ everybody, bang on some doors, make some demands, notices, retweet, try to get an answer from Adam Aaron, try to get an answer from the board, contact your computer share, contact your brokers, and figure out what the fuck is going on with this vote.
I'm telling you guys.
I want everyone to vote. Everyone. Just
absolutely.
Vote.
And I want to be
Make sure you vote.
Yep. Vote and
because
have
I'm here I want to expose the shorts. I want to expose the real short position, expose the synthetics, put that crime out on Front Street, because that's a lot different than spoofing. Okay? It's totally different. than naked shorting.
And here's the other thing.
And if you try to mess with this with this vote tally, now we're talking about real crime, go to prison crime.
Pound me in the ass prison.
Pound me in the ass prison. Now, shorts haven't covered. Shorts are down 81 billion in January. They're leveraged 40-1. Okay. And we're all running around pissing our diapers over here. Like, like something's changed because there's this vote coming up. Let me tell you something. They're still short. They're still leveraged to their eyeballs. They're down 81 billion. We own our stock cash. Costs us nothing to hold. I'm not paying over 200-300% to hold my long.
Well, the vote is a deleveraging event, though. That's kind of my point. If you keep the leverage with AMC Common, then all the arbitrageurs got to
Yeah, I would agree. It's not ideal. It's not ideal.
Was it?
I'm not happy about it. Okay, it's not ideal the way that this is being done.
Well, it's a deleveraging because you talk about the leverage. That immediately deleverages once you let the Antara and let that flood open up where it's 1.4 billion pre-split, and he's got 4 billion on top. The leverage it's just a deleveraging event, and there goes your short squeeze.
Everybody say goodbye to GT.
I don't even know who he is.
Neither do I. Neither does anybody else. Bye-bye. This is just, it's a clown show. It really is a clown show at this point. We have seen just nothing but malfeasance. And you know what? I have seen enough. I've had enough. And I've done everything Frank, I swear to you, I have done everything in my power for this shareholder base. I've called, I've emailed, I have done everything I possibly could to get justice with every ounce of my I have sat literally going through the Crimson Compass, my alumni network, calling random fuckers that I've never met, but I just claim, hey, we're both Harvard guys. Let's talk. Give me some info. Give me some intel. Sometimes I would get a fuck you, Al. Get the hell out of here. Don't call me again. Or they wouldn't even return my emails or anything. I've done everything. All right. It's up to you guys. And it's up to you to evangelize the other communities. Right. There is 10 million people out there. If you don't say anything, if you don't put out on social media, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Twitter or Stockwitz, you are not going to get the no votes. We're just not going to get it. But you have to educate others. You have to give them real reasons why you're going to vote no. And if there is a majority consensus, because it's already working, people are voting no. Right? People are voting no. All you have to do is do your part. And that's put it out there. No on threes. No to nothing. We give them nothing. We give them absolutely not one fucking solid inch of soil. Nothing.
I would like to add to that. I'd like to add to that strategy that more buyers than sellers make stocks go up. But let's just put that aside. Let's put that shit aside. This is more important.
It's up to you guys.
More important.
There's 800 of you guys, right? If Leonidas can hold off 10,000 fucking Persians with 300, great. With 800 apes that are motivated, you guys can do the same damn thing. Get out there.
No keeps Antara's money. You vote no, you get to keep Antara's money.
You get to keep Antara's money.
And I wish I could work for them.
Money, and they get to keep their preferred shares, and they can figure out what they're going to do with them. And we can figure out later, maybe a different type of conversion, change the rate, several other options. But what you do is you keep, like Pedro said, you got to keep AMC clean. You keep AMC clean, and you let A be what it's going to be.
I wonder if Antara is hiring. I wish I could go work for Manashu Gulati.
I'm telling you.
He's my hero. This guy jumped in this thing 3 weeks ago, made $300 million, and I'm sitting here arguing with 800 people in a chat. Man, how can I work for?
Yes, it does matter. Your votes do matter. Your no votes do matter. Even if it's accountability after the fact, right? Even if it's accountability after the fact, you should vote no. You're about to get screwed. I mean, think about this. When you started this 2 years ago, right? This thing is literally hinging on this vote, right? Think about that. 2 years ago, you had dreams, you had visions of the future, you had a bright future, right? And slowly but surely, they denigrated this whole thing down to this vote. It's just that simple. Thank you, Frederick. Mr. Hamilton, I appreciate that. It's just, You got to be smart, man. You got to be smart. I'm out there every day. I'm out there with Frank. I'm out there with Richie and fucking Dakota and Brian and Ethan and all our friends who are out there every day making phone calls, making the everyone say bye to Uncle Milty and tell him to go fuck himself. Gargle on my balls, Uncle Milty.
How you gonna let those guys stay? I'm of the opinion that they really split the shareholder base with this.
That's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did.
I don't like having any friendly fire. I mean, if the guys, some people, it takes longer for them to get to the conclusions that we've drawn. Maybe we're cynical. Maybe they are happy. Actually, guys, which is wonderful. And I agree with a lot of stuff Frank's saying, but these other people, I think we need to embrace everybody. It's not, you got put in a tough situation. Same thing with the Corona pandemic. Everyone got put in a tough situation. So arguing over masks and shit like that, I mean, you really need to blame China, whoever was fucking with the virus that made it. This is a similar thing where I don't want to see infighting. I don't want to see.
Well, that was the thing.
Come aboard.
This is the one thing I didn't think the predatory shorts would be able to do, and that's divide the apes and turn us against the CEO, and that's exactly what they've done.
Well, that's exactly what the ape split did. It took preferred share and common stock and pinned them against each other.
That's exactly what it was.
You know what's really funny about that, though? Yep. What's funny about that opinion is we've all decided that since, and I'm guilty of this as well, since the SEC won't do its job, and since FINRA won't do its job, we're going to blame Adam Aaron because he won't come out and be a Patrick Byrne. And I've been vocal about that as well. I'm like, look, NWBO is suing for spoofing. It happens to us every day. Why can't we sue for spoofing?
Well, he's out there saying that he sold to Antera, and I've seen the video he did where he's saying, well, it's at market price, and he's joking and laughing. He's against, in my opinion, he's against his own shareholder base. When he split the shareholder base between APE and AMC with common and preferred, and then he took the side of Antera and put him with his preferred stock, his new apes, which is preferred stock, and totally forget about the common side.
Look at what Kryptonian wrote.
Takeover. He's doing a takeover. All the preferred stock that he's doing is a poison pill, which you use in a takeover.
Look at what Kryptonian just wrote. They don't want retail to be the majority shareholder.
It's 100% right. He's 100% right. He just hit the head on. That's the nail meets hammer right there.
Boom.
So let's say you guys win. All right. Let's say we all vote no, and we teach Adam a lesson. We teach our stock a lesson. We're voting no. Okay. What happens next now? What's going to happen
next? We move forward on
a
shareholder meeting where we propose the sale of AMC.
Okay.
I don't want to give it all away. I'm not going to give the whole farm away, but that'll be one proposal. One proposal is going to be for a share count and investigation, right? We're going to do is these are our apes now. We're going to hijack the shareholder meeting. We're going to authorize AMC to be sold, but it's got to be sold at a price that we're comfortable with. It ain't going to be no 50 cents. It's going to be, I don't know, people can come to terms, and figure out what the leverage is and what the appropriate price is going to be, but it wouldn't be 50 cents in my mind. And then you'd have a proposal, like I said, for an investigation, and there's other proposals, might maybe cut some of these bonuses and trim some fat, like you guys were talking about. No more Nicole Kidman and the high craft bullshit.
Frank had sex with Nicole Kidman, by the way.
Come on. Let's not go there.
Tell him.
Optimal, you know what? I've spoken to Patrick. The man's a genius. Okay, Adam Aaron is not Patrick, and I'm not saying that in a funny way. It's just, Patrick, if you have any idea the kind of hell that Patrick Byrne went through because of the way he is and the actions he took, there's very few CEOs that want to go out like that. And I'll remind you, he's no longer CEO of Overstock.com. The man's working on other projects now, but when you come out and take on Wall Street that way, there's a terrible price to pay. But I just see, I'm actually kind of optimistic before the vote about some of the things that are happening. The SEC is getting dragged before the Committee on Financial Services. That's going to happen. All right. There might even be something could come out of this FTX investigation about the, 84 trillion tokenized ape sloshing around on the Uniswap exchange. I see a lot of things out there. But
to that point, contact your Congress, people, Democrats, Republicans, contact your Congress, people, contact your state representatives, because it's not just SEC, there's state laws. And there's probably, certain politicians that are gonna, they like attacking Wall Street.
Frank, I'm gonna jump in and add to what you're saying there real quick. Since you brought up the tokens and Uniswap, I think it's important for people to know that all these tokenized securities for GameStop and AMC and many of the other meme stocks, they all went through Uniswap.
Bingo.
And for those that don't know who runs Uniswap, it's run by a lady named Mary Ladder.
And who's her dad?
Okay.
Is she related to the lead director on our board of directors? I'm just curious. Is that the same lady?
Oh my God, Philip Ladder.
Absolutely. And
Wow.
I think it's more important to note, yes, she is connected, but her connection to BlackRock is far deeper, right? BlackRock,
That's where she was first. Yeah.
Okay. And if you look at what she did at BlackRock, she was a managing director for their digital assets. Okay. And then after she worked on their digital assets, she was part of the Aladdin Sustainability Program, which, for those that don't know, is BlackRock's AI supercomputer that tracks basically everything in every stock and is a money grinding machine. That's what it does. And after she left BlackRock, she went and became the COO of Uniswap and runs all of Uniswap. And it just so happens all these tokens went through Uniswap. Surprise.
Yep. And you'd be surprised how much of that information is now scrubbed. It's gone. I go back and look for things to stick into my show, to stick into my, on my YouTube channel, and they're gone. But
Don't use Chrome, but use a different.
They're all scumbags.
Yeah, but Google returns search results using like bubbles and geofencing, but DuckDuckGo and like Opera, their search engines don't work like that. They return aggregated results.
So that's where we are. That's where we are, gentlemen and ladies in the chat. We have given you every modicum we have to give. We've given you every reason to vote no. At this point, either you do or you don't. And, there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing, that we have the power. We have the power. It's either no or that's it. That's the end of it. Simple as that. So I'll leave it at that. But can we first talk about why this nation and its infrastructure is collapsing by these, quote, accidents? What the fuck is that? Today in Ohio, a massive explosion killing numbers of people and nobody on the news. I mean, I looked on the news, nothing on the news. This is like, what the hell's going on?
It happened at 3:30 today.
3:30 today.
Yep.
Al, will you put up a poll? I'm just curious where the chat is now. Would you put up a poll and everybody just vote the truth? I am not going to vote my shares until after I see our earnings call. Okay, I want all the information, and I'm leaning to no. I'm as angry as you. Okay, I just have, I've got this funny thing I learned a long time ago that I'm not going to teach my money a lesson. Money teaches you lessons. So, when I'm declaring war on my own money and hating on my company, hating on my CEO, it's just not a comfortable place for me. Okay. Now, I'm actually, me and Al were the guys that threw the flag up and said, hey, this Philip Lader guy, guess what? He's also a senior advisor to Morgan Stanley Institutional Trading. And then Al went and dug up that his daughter is senior management for Uniswap, an exchange where our tokenized securities were found. So, you can't call me a shill because I don't want to, I don't want to do a Roman stoning of the CEO at this, pivotal time. I still think the pandemic might have had a lot to do with the trouble that we're in and some of the debt that we have. But I don't like how this Antera deal was done.
I've given
But I
you.
am curious, where are you voting today?
Listen, I've given you every piece of evidence you need to make a sound decision based on everything that we've researched, all the interesting little factoids that we were able to dig up. If you don't do this, it's up to you, man. It's all up to you. But we've given you everything. I've given you everything that I possibly could in the past 2 years. It's up to you from here on out.
Angel, I don't want to love anybody, Angel. I'm here. Angel Chicago, let me tell you something, Primo. I'm here to make money. I'm not here to win arguments. So you know what, Al and everybody on this, they can take, if they win the argument, they can take that piece of paper, write "I won an argument" and put it up on the wall. That doesn't do me any good, bro.
Okay.
I want to win. I
So
want to win money.
the poll
I wanna
is
win
up.
at the trade.
The poll is up, right? The poll is up, and it's currently 83% no. So a lot of you got it. A lot of you understand. 161 people have voted. A lot of you understand. The tide is turning. The tide is turning. There it is, 84%. 200 people have voted, 84%.
200 votes in.
84%.
Speaking of the tide turning, you guys remember whenever we all had a gut feeling that momentum had shifted?
Yep.
It turns out that we actually did just change like an astrological calendar. We are now in the age of Aquarius.
Isn't that a song, Frank, from your childhood?
The wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
Yeah. No, that's I heard Frank humming that song the other night.
Just saying, it's everything's connected. And
Angel, look. Angel just said that Adam Aarons fucked us at every turn. And you know what? You're Angel, okay? I will tell you this, all right? As far as saving the company, running the company, growing the company, it's Angel, what's happening right now is, let's say you're watching an NFL game and there's a crooked ref down there, and you're blaming the general manager of your team. I just believe that the SEC and the DTCC and FINRA, they have let the predatory short sellers run all over us. Adam Aron isn't short billions of shares of AMC, and maybe the guy is ill prepared to handle it. But don't misunderstand me. I have been an open critic. All right. Whenever I see something I don't like, I criticize the man. That doesn't mean that I want, I'm going to turn completely on AMC management right here, because it did build the biggest theater chain on the planet. So yeah, I want to see some shit. And if I don't see it, Angel, I'm voting no. So, but he fucked us at every turn. Not so much. Okay, the guy did land Netflix. All right, Highcroft might turn out to be a good thing. You don't know. You don't know. The deal that he made with Disney, that was pretty good. Deal that he made with Paramount, getting Yellowstone in the theaters, that was pretty good. Yeah, Captain Brian, we saved it. I got it.
We can concede all those points. We can concede all those points, but to our point, I think I can kind of summarize our point is that there's no reason for this conversion. There's no reason to sell at 66 cents. So yeah, he did it. I'm not going to knock the guy 100%, but what he's doing here is just an egregious breach of fiduciary duty and corporate governance. So you kind of have to, when you're dealing with the vote, you kind of have to separate the two. Yeah, he could be a nice guy, but maybe he's getting taken advantage of too. But I just see that there's kind of a differential there that you kind of got to look at the corporate governance angle of this.
There is.
I agree. There's a million things I'm pissed off about.
Yeah, and I agree with most of what you say. I agree with. But to the point about like the burning down of Rome, or I don't remember the exact analogy, but that's where he split us. Is that he put you, if you're holding half APE and half AMC, your portfolio is at war with itself because he split everybody.
Correct. Without a vote. I never voted
Without a
for a
vote.
split.
It was never a vote, and I'm 100% sure. I went down a rabbit hole that they needed to put a certificate of, oh gosh, I'm blanking on. There needs to be a specific certificate that outlines the delegation of voting power from common stock to preferred stock, and they never did it. And if you look at that certificate, the certificate explicitly says that they're still bound by Delaware law, or by the applicable law, which is Delaware Corporate Governance Law, General Corporate Governance Law 242. You have to vote independent. The classes have to vote independently. I'm 1,000,000% sure on this. And to that point, it does look like there's something shady going on.
And that, as they say, is that. Oh, man. It's just sad. It's unfortunate, you know.
Certificate of delegation. That's what it is. Let me double check.
Yeah. Listen, it's sad the way this
page
thing.
5, 2000. You guys can look it up. The 2022. They redid the stockholders agreement with the Secretary of State. It's on page 5 of the certificate of, I believe, delegation. And that's to delegate the rights. If Common wants to delegate the rights, they have to do it. The board has to get authorization from Common, and then they would delegate their rights to vote with preferred. And they never did that.
Malcolm Sears Jr. found a positive cash flow the vote. They'll still do it. They'll still do it to get half the. I think what happened is Adam Aaron is just tired of all the bullshit that we've been putting him through on Twitter. He said, "Fuck this! I want to get out of here. I want to retire. I'm done with this." And he, by the way, you guys, if you don't know, Adam Aaron was once investigated by the SEC for similar things at Vail. Oops, did I say that? I did. Oh, I did. I did say that. Yeah. I did just say that. Adam Aaron was investigated by the SEC for gap analysis and gap irregularities. Where's the money, Aaron? Where's the fucking money? Nobody knows, sir. Slime through the cracks. Slime through the cracks. Nobody asked for ape. That's right, Greg. Nobody did.
You know what I don't understand, Al?
Adam Aaron, if you Google it, you'll see the whole thing. It happened when he was the CEO of Vail. He pulled some similar shit like this. Pulled the same shit. Got nailed afterwards. Then he was invited to leave the company to work for the 76ers or something, or one of the other travel companies like Norwegian or something. It's the same shit. He this isn't his first rodeo.
I'll concede this. He deserves all of this criticism now because you left out context. You did not explain. You gave no path. You shared no path with your shareholders that saved the company. So a lot of this he's got coming. And if for some reason we get enough no votes to knock down this proposal, he'll deserve it.
Hey, I got an idea. I
hope he's not like me, because if I were CEO and you told me no, I would definitely take you straight to bankruptcy court.
I have an idea,
That's
guys.
What this is.
What
That's
if we?
What this kind of retribution
Okay.
for voting against his bonuses. I think that the one commenter hit the nail on the head. He wants to do a takeover. It's in retail's hands. He wants to take it over. He's selling cheap votes. He's going to control the voting power now. And I think it's retribution. I think he's pissed. They said no to his couple things that he wanted. I think he wanted. They froze his bonuses, right?
Here's what I'd rather do. Right, I would rather do the following: cancel the vote, let Ape stay what it is, let it stay what it is, okay, and then do an absolute like AMC. Go to AMC, maybe add 20 million shares, 30 million shares. I'd rather do that, 50 million shares, than just buy it up. Don't do the conversion. Don't do anything else. Just buy this. Just open up AMC. I'd rather do that. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you rather do that? That way we can buy whatever it is that's open there.
Yeah. And that's what the law. That's what he should have done by the letter of the law.
But this time, now we know better. Now we know that, hey, we would rather have AMC shares You give up, another 20 million shares, 100 million shares, at the market price. We'll buy it up. The price will go up, and we'll just keep buying. We'll just keep doing what we're doing, and we can do it incrementally.
That's the side the poison pill should be on.
That's
Honestly, the poison pill should be.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Brian. When he offered this to us, too many clowns were saying, "No, we don't want a dilution." No. And look what happened.
Vape itself is a poison pill. It's just now it's being used against the shareholder base.
1,000%. But what he should do is AMC Common should be the poison pill. That's if I had it my way. We dead ape, and if you held AMC Common, we're gonna do a poison pill, and shorts would get destroyed.
There's so many people that don't understand how this works. They're listening to clowns, absolute fucking clowns, trying to figure out, what does this mean? You know what I mean? It's just embarrassing. It's like if you don't know what you're talking about, or you just read a piece of paper, and they automatically assume that's the biggest thing, right? In finances, there's always wiggle room, and there's tons of backdoor deals happening all the time. And if you think for 1 second, like, hey, because I read it on Invest, this is my biggest thing. I read it on Investopedia, you guys. That's my biggest thing. No, you clown. Doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean jack shit. All those rules are meant to be broken. They can be swayed. They can be case by case. It's always case by case. Consider this, right? I've used this in the past. You can't make your mortgage payment, right? You're supposed to get repoed after 90 days or 120 days or whatever it may be. But instead, the bank says, you know what? How much can you afford until you can get back on your feet? That's a special accommodation. The funds have the same thing. They have the same accommodations, and through the SEC and everybody else. So, these are the things that people don't know about. These are the things that other YouTubers don't know about. They don't talk about it. They can't talk about it because they don't have any clue because they're coming from whacked out backgrounds. They have no senses in reality of what's going on. This is what happens. Fuck them.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the dichotomy of how these people. You're looking at Wall Street. You hate Wall Street. You hate the short sellers, and then you kind of look in this guy's background, and he's not any different from those guys. He's one of those guys.
Yeah,
it's a big club.
He's an IB guy. He's an investment banking guy. If you look at his track record, he's not a stock guy. He's an IB guy, investment banking guy. That's what he does.
He's an Apollo guy.
Yeah, an Apollo. Yeah, Apollo.
Direct distressed debt.
Yep. That's it. Vultures. Those are the real vultures of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Scumbags.
Yeah, it's looking like he's going for the the Bain Capital, hollow out the company, like you spoke to, hollow out the company, do a takeover, massive delusion, and then it's just dead in the water.
Bain is like the worst out of all of them, I think. Right? Bain, I would say. Bain's a great example.
That's a model that a lot of them use.
Al, where's your vote at, Al? Excuse me, sorry.
Oh, we already put. It's already done. We already did it. It's like 80-something% no.
Okay.
Simple. It's very simple.
I'm right now. I haven't voted yet. I'm kind of with Frank. I'm kind of waiting till the last minute. I want to know as much information as possible before I vote, but I am heavily leaning towards no across the board. Well, it's no for everything or yes.
It's a unanimous yes or no anyway, right?
Yeah. So I'm leaning no, just because Adam Aaron could have done one of a dozen things that would have made me be like, oh, yes, all right, you're actually doing something to help the retail investor. All right, I can get behind that. But I haven't seen any of that, and that's what makes me reluctant to just go with the flow if there's no direction. So that's kind of where I stand as far as my vote. But I have not voted, but I definitely intend to vote. I think it's important for everybody to vote, regardless of what side you vote. It's important.
That's all I'm concerned about. I want everyone to vote. I want billions of votes cast. And then I'm daring this company to try to suppress that information. Because that will be the beginning of the largest class action lawsuit that Wall Street has ever seen.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I just want a clean vote. I want everyone to vote, and I want it to be clean. And I'm an AMC guy, Ape guy. I just think he split them up, and I think that you still got to vote along the lines that he split it up. That's just what Delaware law is. I want everyone to vote, and I want it to be a clean vote, and let the chips, lay where they fall. I would be a no for sure, but
Yeah, I just, I'd like to remind everybody that there's a bank from the 1860s, prime broker, prime bank, Credit Suisse, about $3 a share right now. They just lost their Asian CEO. Their co-head of global equities just took off. I mean, these guys had a 95-cent price target on our common. They were short AMC, okay? And the same day that they were in Saudi Arabia begging for money to stay alive, AMC was in Saudi Arabia doing a deal with IMAX for 6 new theaters. So I just want you people to know in the chat, they don't always win. Archegos didn't win. Tiger didn't win. Credit Suisse didn't win. Bill Hwang didn't win. Bernie Madoff didn't win. I could go on for hours. These people do fuck up. Sam Bankman-Fried didn't win. So, I'm willing to go heads up. Let's start trading right now. Go ahead. Do your worst. Because these people, I'm telling the chat right now, these people are leveraged as high as 40 to 1. They are paying extraordinary fees to remain short. And the next big disaster that Al from Boston reports on could be the final straw. So bring it on. Let's start trading right now. I could give a shit. You still have to cover billions of shares, in my opinion. Can't prove it, but I believed Wes when he said it. So let's take it to the street. Let's trade. I'm ready.
I'm ready with you, Frank, and I know Al from Boston's ready to drop the big bombshell for sure.
Al's very convincing. I'm leaning to a no. To be perfectly honest, I could care less until I see what happens. I want to see. After all the things we've discussed tonight, in particular, it's making my calendar come alive for tomorrow, which is the 13th day on the threshold list, and then Friday, where we could have an absolute bloodbath in Europe, not to mention, the SEC has to turn over all their communication to the Financial Services Committee. And then next Tuesday, we have our earnings call. And Quantumania, Ant-Man did 120 million this weekend. I'm actually not as, I'm not as negative as some out here. I think we're holding the cards, mainly because the shareholder, and this is before the vote, I'll give you that. The shareholder, we own the float maybe 2 times over, and we own it cash. You can't shake us out. You've already tried that shit. You've already tried every trick in the book, and it hasn't worked. So,
And there is no way for this stock after you hit no or after you hit yes, and there's a dilution. There's no comeback. There's no comeback story for this AMC company. There is none. There is absolutely no comeback story. That's it.
What would be actually really cool is if they were able to do a vote on the blockchain. And it would actually be really easy to do. You could issue the same number of tokens as you'd had for Ape. You could issue those out to the shareholders, and they could vote those tokens. If you send the tokens to the Genesis block, which is basically the 000 address, which basically burns the token, it's lost forever, that would be a no vote. Or you could send it to an address that would be a yes vote, or you don't send it at all. There's so many ways you could do a consolidated vote and have it be legitimate. But everything.
I actually thought that's the way we were heading. I really thought that was the way we were heading. We were the first company to start, we're going to take Dogecoin, we're going to take Bitcoin, we're going to do NFTs. I'm like, holy shit. I mean, we're heading to the blockchain.
Yes.
I ran out and bought a couple domain names because of that bullshit. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. This 100%. Is going to be great. I thought that's the direction we were heading.
And it's not that hard to do. I mean, you can go and create a token extremely easily. Again, using Uniswap, Yeah, not the greatest place, but anybody can create a token. There's other places you can create these tokens. It's not all that difficult to do, and it's nearly inexpensive to set up. The cost is negligible as far as against the book.
And you know what? If a short covering event begins tomorrow, I don't think you guys are going to think about the vote anymore. I think you'll start looking towards the earnings call first.
Okay, Dakota's got to go. After he already left. Okay, got it.
It's possible.
Oh man,
It's just crazy how much stuff's going on. It's like I said, it's so convoluted. There's so many directions this thing can go. It's literally loopty-doopty all around itself, and it's so hard to predict. Literally, the only thing I've found that works for me is just buying and holding. It's the only thing that I'm like, I don't have to worry about the loopty-doops. If I see a good price, I buy more. If I don't,
Nobody likes that strategy anymore. They're frustrated. They want to move on. They want this over with. And you know what? The people we're trading against have 10x to lose. So they are not giving up.
Yeah, I think that's important because ultimately that's going to dictate what kind of prices we see if we do see any legitimate squeeze.
I think some clarification also. Just because we're saying to vote no doesn't mean that you're supposed to sell your shares next Tuesday and vote no. You're still supposed to hold your shares, and you can trade how you want. But also, no isn't an absolute where if you're holding a year from now, there can't be some other type of conversion. It just has to be above board, and it has to be attractive with some take back for AMC Common, in my opinion.
Good point. That's a great point, because you know what? I try not to let these things influence my decisions, because the market doesn't give a shit that I'm impatient or that I'd want to break even on this, or I want a MOAS, or I want a Lamborghini. The market doesn't give a shit. Okay? So I try to focus on what's really happening. Okay? On what I can prove. That's what's important. And going into the bell tomorrow morning, for the 740 people in here, I want you to know APE and AMC have some of the highest short interest on the entire NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, that you can't change that with a yes or no vote. We are also APE, our little preferred share that everybody in the chat keeps saying, I didn't want an APE. I didn't vote for an APE. Okay, it's the number one most shorted stock on the entire exchange. Some people, like Himanshu Gulati, made $400 million over the past 3 weeks trading APE. Did you miss out on that? Because guess what? APE and AMC are both on the top 10 most shorted stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. And tomorrow morning might be our 13th day. So, before we all commit suicide and, we're going to teach everybody a lesson. We're going to vote no. Okay, I might vote no with you. But the bottom line is that doesn't matter yet. What matters next is how we did in Q4 and forward-looking statements. That's what matters next. You guys, you know what? Go out, make 20 videos on voting no, and have all your friends vote no, and vote no now. Okay, and guess what? You might change your vote after the earnings call. You might have a short covering event before that. The Chinese might attack Taiwan. You have no idea what's going to happen.
And if my sister grows a dick, she'll be my
your
brother.
Personal feelings bleed into your analysis about how you feel about this and how you feel about that, because obviously nobody gives a shit about the shareholders. No one cares about retail. Okay, we could call all the lawyers that we want, and that's not going to change the fact that Citadel paid what's her face? Citadel paid our Treasury Secretary $800,000 for a couple of Zoom calls. She's not going to suddenly turn on Citadel and take up our flag. It's never going to happen. All right, these people bribed everyone. Janet Yellen, excuse me.
That's facts right there.
Hey, really quick, I want to just talk about CGRA. CGRA did have a little bit, not news, but some interesting things have been going on with CGRA. Let me just talk about it really, really briefly. As of right now, there is 564.1% of short interest and significant failure to deliver, significant, and that's of 131. This looks like it might actually squeeze. I wasn't looking for a squeeze, but it looks like there could be a squeeze because of it. But crazy amounts of short interest. As of the 31st, the thing just shot up 564%. So somebody is in a shithole place right now. They're getting dicked around. Also, let me just read a couple things out. There's about 500,000 trapped shorts in the stock. And that's a huge deal, proving that the claims are that OTC stocks on shorted are just a bull-faced lie. Recent data that I saw shows that there's a massive illegal naked shorting going on unreported to FINRA. We know this. But unlike others, this stock, because it's on OTC, there's no halts. But at the same time, look at them. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Fucking halts, man.
Yeah.
The halts crack me up. I've seen a lot of shit.
It's just so much stuff.
Really, they really, I'm usually a pretty positive person now, but those halts, when they, and then you see these other stocks spike, 1,000%, not one halt, and then our stock is falling through the floor, and they won't halt it, but. I'm like, you guys don't even bother. You're not even trying anymore. This LULD committee really cracks me up, but it's okay. It's okay because I want everyone in the chat to know. I'm telling you, what goes around comes around. It always does. You reap what you sow, and you know what? These people, they destroy themselves. They really, really do. I know you don't want to pin your hopes to something that light. But
I'm just being a realist, Frank. That's all. I'm being a realist.
I know,
we've been coming up the past 2
man.
years. We've been coming up every reason to stay in this stock, like every fucking reason. And I have reached Al's threshold, if you will. That's it.
And Al, you know what? I appreciate that. In fact, Al, I even said to my own wife, what really sucks the most about this is we were right. The bet. If you want to bring this down, if you want to reduce this to a bet, the bet was. AMC is going into bankruptcy or AMC is going to survive. Okay? And most of the people in this chat are long AMC, and we're like, you know what? This company is going to make it. And it did. And I understand you guys are all salty with Adam Aron, and I'm salty with Adam Aron. But you know what? Over the past 2 years, this company has really modified its business model. And it's survived. And you know what? The shorts were wrong. They're like, oh, streaming's going to take over everything. Streaming's got its head up its ass right now. Okay? In fact, the reason I was so excited about Yellowstone, Tulsa King, Glass Onion coming to the theater is it showed a real collaboration between streaming and the theater business model, where the theater business model is actually going to change. All right? Over the past 24 months, I will remind you guys, we did a deal with NCMI, IMAX, Highcroft, Zoom, Fathom Events. We own a chunk of that. Disney, Netflix, Paramount, 101, MTV Studios, and we got this credit card and the popcorn in the background. Now, you know what? Over the past 24 months, the company has proven that it's going to survive. These guys just don't want to pay. They just don't want to pay. So they just keep shorting more. That's what's unfair to me. If you want to know what I'm really mad about, is we made a bet. We made a wager that the company was going to survive. Wall Street said that it wasn't. We won, and they don't want to pay. They want to stay short forever. And that's what bothers me, Al. So I understand where your frustration is coming from. I just want you to try to focus on doing things that will help. Because you can spend your time doing things that'll help. You can do.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. That time is past.
I got you, bro.
That time is past. We're all done with that. And you know what? I appreciate your optimism. I really do. I just, I know realistically how it's going to turn out. I really do. I understand it. And I think most people here that have sat here for the last 2 years understand it, that no matter how optimistic we become and whatever delusions we say to ourselves, the simple truth is this is going to get fucking ugly.
Don't
And-
call my analysis delusional, Al. Everything
Frank,
I just
if you
said
think
was
that
grounded
popcorn
in
and
fact.
if you think that popcorn and credit cards will come up before this vote, that is a delusion.
Never know.
It's a what if
I
scenario,
really-
Frank. That's a what if scenario. What if my sister grows a dick? Would she be my brother? I don't know. What if? It's a what if.
That's funny, Al. That's funny, Al. But the business you and I invested in is the number one seller of movie theater popcorn in the world. So
Frank,
put that
movie
in your
theater
pipe and
popcorn.
smoke it.
Movie theater popcorn alone will not save this company.
I never
Right?
said it would.
That's what you sure sounded like it.
No, I never said that. I never said popcorn was save this company.
Oh my
I
god!
said that was just one more thing.
All right,
That
let's
was
move
one more
on.
thing.
Let's move on. We spent an hour and a half.
We asked the man to modify this business model. He did it.
I'm just
We did
so exhausted. I'm just
I know
so
you are.
exhausted from all this. Let's move on to the next thing. All right, the next segment. Let's talk about what's going on in this country. So we have seen multiple things happening globally, but I want to just talk about in the United States. Today in Ohio, there was a massive explosion. We found pipe bombs on railroad tracks 2 days ago. None of this is being covered by any local news. In fact, it's only being covered on Twitter. Very, very scary stuff, you guys. It's just, and you know what? There is a talk of a deep state. There is a talk of foreign actors that are here as sleeper cells, people that we let through the border. Guess what? It's happening. Now you're seeing it. And you just might be a victim one day. I don't know. I'm not trying to scare you on that, but these people are crazies. These people, these globalists, are nuts, man. It's just absolutely crazy. And I don't know what to say. I wish I had an answer for you. And QAnon is back. Imagine that. So, I mean, this administration does a publicity stunt today. He was in what do you call it? Where the hell was he? He was in the Ukraine. He's in Kiev today. And this is so funny. They had to spray paint a red dot on the deck for him to stand there so he knows where to stand during the publicity ops. I mean, really, dude? Really? Is it that bad that you don't even know where you are? Just dimensionally challenged? You know what I mean? It's just nuts. I don't even know what to say.
They faked the siren for the air defenses while he was there. There was a news company apparently that was there for 5 days, never heard the air sirens, and they just so happened to siren when he was doing his photo shoot.
Imagine that. Imagine that. Yeah. It's all fucked up, man. It's sad. Like Tanya just said, sad but true. But I'm remaining bullish until I'm no longer remaining bullish on this market. I think whatever global thing that's about to happen, I think most people are waiting on it, and they're more or less pinning their hopes on some kind of event. I just don't know if it's going to be a positive event or a negative event, but some kind of event. And depending on what that event is, you might be able to pull in a couple shots, and depending on how things go. Ideally, what I would love to see is the war in Ukraine just be over. Just be like, hey, the Russians are pulling out. We're done. We've made our point. Don't fuck with us again.
One.
And that would be a good swan. That would be a nice swan, a white swan event, and then boom, market's back up and running. It'd be nice.
I personally don't think the short trade is going to make it past March 17th, no later than the 24th. Don't forget, from now until then, you've got 2 CPIs, right? You've got our Q4 earnings. You've got this shareholder meeting where we're going to decide on, a conversion and a split. And by the way, everybody can argue whether a split is going to do anything to the short sale. But I don't see how it can help the shorts. I really don't. That argument that, oh no, they got less to find. No, that's not how a reverse split works. But you're right, Al. We've got black swans in every direction. You've got 2 CPI readings coming up. You've got another rate decision coming up on the 21st of next month. we're going up a quarter, maybe a half. We've got an ongoing investigation into FTX. You know, if any of that tokenized security shit comes screaming out of that investigation, who knows who that's going to land on. So I don't know, man. I just think the vote itself could expose billions of synthetic shares if they exist.
Hey, I want somebody in the chat. There's 690 of you guys. Somebody who's on Twitter, come up with like a profile picture that we can all use because we're voting no. Somebody make sure they do this. Send it to me in DM or tweet it to me, and I'll pick one and we'll go with that for Thursday's live. So before Thursday, somebody create a no vote like profile pic for Twitter, and then we can go from there. Frank, I got nothing else, man.
Don't forget the spy balloons. We've got Russian jets in Alaskan airspace.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you know, cats living with dogs. It's anarchy out here. So I'd much rather own my stock and be long, no debt, than be where our enemies are.
It's funny you say that, Frank. There is just so much controversial stuff going on right now. I mean, train derailment in Ohio, Russia-Ukraine stuff.
Another train derailment in Michigan too.
A seemingly attack on the food supply with food processing plants getting hit.
Thank you.
Farms getting hit. I don't know if it's just everybody's hypersensitive or there's something legitimate going on. I mean,
I think we're desensitized in a way because you're seeing something nuts every day, like an earthquake in Turkey. You know, you're seeing something insane every day, and now you're getting desensitized to it. You know, and somebody in the chat said, "Hey, anything on XRP?" Yeah, I got something on XRP, guys. There is a war going on, a global war. Gary Gensler is right in the middle of it. Cryptocurrency is right in the middle of it. Outrageous debt. Okay, the decision in the XRP case could cast rules and regulations on all the other cryptos. So there's a war going on right now, and we're just in the middle of it.
Seems like it's a convergence. A lot of converging things going on.
Agreed.
Unbelievable.
Al's kind of been bringing that kind of stuff up as biblical tweets.
It is what it is.
Chickens not laying eggs. I saw that, sweet home. I saw the chicken deal. How about the parking lot full of dead birds? Yeah.
Yeah, let alone the long-term impacts of the farmland and the cattle.
I think we left the biggest one out. Pfizer's ass is in a lot of trouble. Okay, yeah. Pfizer is ducking and weaving and bobbing and weaving like crazy right now. But you know, I mean, let's face it. Okay, they're eventually the chicken's gonna come home to roost on that big pharma company too. So we've got plenty of irons in the fire right now.
Frank, I don't know. I mean, I might be younger than you two guys, but I'll say this. I've never seen so many irons in the fire at one time.
Yeah. Never.
They've just worn us out. They've worn us down to a nub, and now you can't see any of the forest for the trees. And we've all had our hearts broken 500 times because they cheat. T+90, Phase 6, NSC 106 - whatever the F. We've all heard it all before. They keep cheating. They keep lying. They keep getting around it. And I had a lot of people in my own chat saying, "Frank, nothing's going to happen with the threshold list. They're just going to get around it." Well, then quit. Give up. Get out of the stock. But I'm not putting my hopes are not on Gary Gensler or the DTCC or FINRA to help us out, or Adam Aaron for that matter. I'm hoping that the prime banks, brokers, and predatory hedge funds are put to a decision. I hope we have nothing to do with it. I really do.
This is Al from Boston. Thank you again, guys, for joining us this evening. Had a lively discussion about what's going on. Ultimately, it's all up to you guys, and we've told you our theses and our contentious points and stuff. We're all exposed. Thank you for just the patronage and coming out, and whoever dropped that $5 in there. Thank you so much for that. But we do appreciate your patronage. We appreciate everything you guys do, especially the interesting dialogue, the funny comments, and all the grace that you guys extend us. Thank you again. We do appreciate it. Frank, you got anything?
No, brother, I'm good.
Richie?
I'm good for now. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Seems like every new day brings some new excitement. So
it's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, right.
It's unbelievable.
I've never had something where I'm excited to get up and see all the bullshit that takes place the next day. So we'll just see what tomorrow brings.
Prediction. I honestly believe before the vote ever gets here, I think most of you are going to forget about it. I'm just telling you. I know it seems front and center, and I'm not belittling Al's show. I get it. I get it. Everyone's like hypersensitive focused on this vote, and I'm telling you, I don't even think it's going to matter. I really don't. We'll see. I could be wrong, man.
All right, guys.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Al, great job.
Thank you.
I will say this: if you're not following Al or subscribing, definitely do so. He's definitely a legit dude, and he's got always good information to share as well as Uncle Frank. So I definitely keep an eye out for the information they're sharing because some of the better information that's out there. So make sure you share those guys' information with other people so that their information can get out and our information can get out.
It's funny because there's only an average of between 600 and 800 people that show up to these lives, right? 600-800 people. But in the morning, people listen to an hour and a half, 2 hours of the actual conversations in the middle of the night or whatever. It's usually 5,000-6,000 people that listen to the lives. I think in terms of AMC, this is the most popular AMC channel. They can talk all the shit they want and call us degenerates. But you know what? We're leading the pack as far as I'm concerned. This is Al from Boston. Thank you so much again for a great evening, a lively discussion, and droll fuckery and all the other shit that we do. Thanks again, guys. Take care.